What is going on, buddy? ZakRC here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome along to episode number 8 of the F123 Girava Career Mode series for the Spanish Grand Prix here at the fabulous Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to go check that one out before you see this one to get yourself caught up on the series so far. Right, jumping into qualifying then. Here's our development updates from the last race. So 3 failed ones, 2 on durability, 1 error, but a succeeded chassis upgrades that will help us over the weekend. And after winning our last rivalry against Logan Sargent, we have no rival for this race and no direct competitor for this Spanish Grand Prix. So jumping into qualifying, first thing we're going to do here, going to make a component change on our MG UK. Moving on to the next component, that'll cost us a few minutes of qualifying time, which could be crucial to us. We only get 1 or 2 runs here in Q1, so going out for that first lap in qualifying, looking to make our way out of Q1. We had quite a good qualifying last time out in Monaco, so we're going to try and improve on that if we can, try and sort of match that if we can do that. And again, if we can try and make it into Q3, it would be a great achievement, but that's quite unlikely. Let's push on here because the main highlight for this Grand Prix being these last 2 corners here. So of course remodified, returning to the original layout, getting rid of the chicane that no one really liked anyway. So glad to have that gone. That's probably my weakest part of this circuit. Come to the line here, first lap, 1 minute 14.5, so a decent start, puts us P16 in the order. So skipping further into session, 6.5 minutes to go. We're in P16 as it stands. A few more minutes to go, but I was an idiot at this point and I forgot to change my tyres. I've gone on to the second run, which means I went to go back and change them, and by that point I lost time. So come to the end of the session, only 1 lap set in Q1, and unfortunately in the end, we didn't get out of Q1 and we finished in P17. So lost the space at the last moment, which is unfortunate. We can move on from it. So P17, getting knocked out with Ocon, ourselves, Magnussen, Sargent and De Vries. But anything could still happen. We've got points from it before, so jump into the Grand Prix and see what we can do.
Welcome along everyone to sunny Spain, specifically to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. So many great moments in Formula One history have been written at this very track over the years, including Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari back in '96. That win was in the rain. We might have better weather here today, but we're just as overjoyed to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap times and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Gasly, Joe, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Albon, Ocon, Cohen, Magnussen, De Vries and Logan Sargent. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to power unit component changes. It's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a much more aggressive approach today to make up for that compromised start.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Alright, more points sounds good. Let's do this. Here we go then, it's time for action here at the Spanish Grand Prix from P17 on the grid. It's a wonderful Spanish day, so looking to get some more points on the board here. Looking at strategy for the race, going for the one stop from soft to mediums. Going to put here on lap 13. I considered hard for a moment, but not a wise choice, so we're going to stay on the mediums for the race, and we'll turn on the fuel to get us a bit faster, but let's wait on the car towards the end of the race, which could help us. It hasn't helped us massively in terms of performance, but it's always good for me to do it. I always prefer doing it myself. Formation lap underway then. Of course, the aim here is to just get more points on the board. It's been a solid start to the season so far over these first 7 races. Of course, we're still yet to match that big point score in Australia, but that was quite a fluke, to be honest, so we might be matching that for a while. But we do our best in order to try and help that happen over the course of the season. And this is another race towards the Constructors' Championship total. Of course, AlphaTauri chasing a few teams right now. We're still the only ones in the team to score De Vries yet to register a championship point, so we've got the one up on our teammate here, so we're going to pull alongside Ocon, who starts P16 as we go to the grid and lining up in our grid slot here. Going to try and nail it just right. Keep it in the middle. Not going to try and get a jump on anyone off the line. Just going to try and get a better start and move up if we can. Here we go then, no more talking, it's time for action. 5 lights for Russell and Verstappen on the front row. We start from P17, it's lights out, foot to the floor, and we are underway here in Spain. Decent start, Albon and Hulkenberg get really bogged down. They're past Ocon, past Joe on the right hand side, past Zhou as well. Almost 3 abreast going to the first corner, Zhou drops away. Albon goes up in front, De Vries on the outside there. There's contact and De Vries, our teammate, tried to make a very aggressive move on us and we get a warning for a collision with him. What on earth was he trying to do there?
Why the hell did he go for that? There was no space there at all. Come on guys, what's Nick thinking?
Tension's already high here in the opening lap as De Vries tries a very gutsy move on the outside, but aside from that, no more places gained. So P15 for now, and on to lap 2, going to try and take P14 from Zhou Guanyu in the Alfa Romeo on his inside into turn 4. Going to try and make it happen on the exit, going to try and pull clear of the Alfa Romeo and move into between the sandwich. Bottas just there in front, so we're up another place here and coming towards the end of the lap here. DRS about to be deployed as we come to the end of lap number 2 and start lap 3 into the last corner. And to use battery here in order to try and get close to Bottas if we can, and charging down the main straight, going to pull to the right hand side of the flying fin, down the main straight and down that very long run towards the first corner. As we crucially pull alongside, we're going to try and outbrake him into turn 1 for P13 on the inside. Nice and easy, and we're up into P13. Both Alfa Romeos cleared very quickly here. It's work on trying to close down Alexander Albon, pushing on midway through lap 3. Going through the right-hander at turn 13. Oh, a bit of a poor exit there, almost skidding off onto the grass. Bottas takes advantage, goes dancing around the outside as if it's nothing. And back into P13 he goes, we're down the spot. And Zhou just behind us there. We come down the main straight here to start lap 4. Going to try and take Bottas again. Going to try and make a move if we can. Bottas goes over to the middle. Going to try and move to the left, but Zhou tries to take both of us here. 3 wide. Guanyu Zhou moving past myself and Bottas like it's nothing. And he takes full advantage of both our toils and goes up into P13. Double whammy for the pair of us, especially for Bottas. He loses 2 spots in the process. We're there behind Zhou as we move further into lap 4 out of turn 9, looking for a very solid exit on the DRS. Going to pull to his outside, going for turn 10. The slightly longer, more sweeping left-hander on the exit around the outside of the Alfa Romeo and up into P13 once again. So that should settle that little fight for the time being, which is very entertaining if I do say so myself. On to lap number 6 now, chasing down Alexander Albon in the Williams, going towards Tom, and he goes, locks up and goes straight on, almost goes straight on, and that allows us in for P12. Nice and easy. That's one of the easiest overtakes we get today. And now closing on Nico Hulkenberg and Oscar Piastri, who holds the final points paying place. We start lap number 7, closing on Hulkenberg in the Haas to go towards turn 1 once again, and surprisingly enough, Hulkenberg does the exact same thing, almost carbon copy of what Albon did just a moment ago. So it's another place game for us, nice and easy.
Alright. Are they all going to be like that today?
That was quite simple to be honest, 2 places gained just like that. As we work on chasing down Pierre Gasly on lap number 9 of the race, he's not going to be as easy a customer as those last 2 were making those mistakes. So Gasly, a bit tougher in that Alpine, especially with the faster car in general, so it'd be hard to catch him. We're trying hard to keep pace. On to the end of lap number 10, start lap 11. Going to have DRS to our advantage this time to come down the main straight and towards turn number 1. Gasly is the main approach here. He's who we're trying to chase down this main straight, closing in all the time. They can move to the left-hand side. Gasly defends the inside, nice and tight as you go through turn 1. Gasly on the outside gets the better traction on the exit and pulls clear, so holds on to P10 for the moment. So he's dropped back from outside inside the top 10, and now he's challenging us, or we're challenging him rather. On to lap 12, going to try again. This time going to go to the outside, much better run into the corner, pulling clear, almost pulling clear. We're in front of him, about half a car length into turn 1, and we're in front of him at the exit of turn 2. As we go into turn 3, no issue there, nice and breezy. So we're up into the points paying positions now, and chasing down the 2 McLarens, Piastri and Norris, who are 4 and 6 seconds in front respectively. But Gasly isn't done with us yet. Down the main straight once again for lap number 13. He's going to pull to the left hand side going towards turn 1, and he gets in front of us without any issue at all. So takes P10 away once again. This could be a very entertaining duel for position, but Gasly has us for the time being. Let's try and get him back here as soon as we can in order to avoid losing any time. But it's coming down to the point where our first pit stop has to be made. So into the pit lane we come, hitting the pit limiter just at the right moment and coming in for our first and only stop of this Spanish Grand Prix. And looking for those medium tyres, and potentially this earlier pit stop could get us in front of Gasly if we play our cards right. So in we come now, optimal turn in. I see Albon in there behind us. I hope he doesn't hold us up too much. And I see Stroll and Zhou as well. Also both coming in. No impact on us. 2.3 second stop, and we are away out back into the racetrack and down to P17 on to lap 14 of the Grand Prix. So we're going to take the mediums about 20 laps or so to the end of this race, and hopefully those should do us some good. On to lap 15 then, a few more cars coming into the pits, including Sargent, Ocon, Magnussen, and that was it, sorry. I think Zhou came in as well, sorry. But Gasly, crucially, hasn't pit yet, so you have to wait another lap here. End of lap number 15, Bottas is in, and Gasly is in too. Nick Hulkenberg is joining him. So 3 cars we've been chasing today in the pits. De Vries comes in as well, and there is Gasly, P12. Out the last corner we come, looking to try and take away the position and try and get as far in front of Gasly as we can. It's a foregone conclusion. We'll probably get out in front of him, and there he is on the right-hand side, and we pull in front. As cool as you like, that's P10 secure of about 2 seconds or so. Fantastic stuff.
Alright, good job getting us out front. I'll do what I can from here.
So it's our job now to do the best we can with this advantage. We push on towards in at lap 19, start lap 20. Gasly is right there behind us, so it turns out the strategy was no match for pure Alpine pace. We charge down the main straight, we've got no battery to deploy. Gasly to the right hand side, going to try and defend the inside as best we can, but the Frenchman is already there in the first corner. Doesn't get enough for runs to take up the inside, so we're going to hold on to position for the time being. But he's, like I say, he's a tough customer, and it's been a very tough race against him so far, but his last point's paying place. As we come down end of lap number 20 and start lap number 21, just 13 more laps to go here in this Spanish Grand Prix. Gasly with a fantastic exit. They'll pull over to the right, try and cover him off, but he's already too quick for us. He's there before we can even think about it, and he's up into P10 once again. Let's try and get him back as quickly as we can here to avoid him falling away. It's a couple of tenths in front when we reach turn 1. Made a mistake, they're going over the curbs, trying not to lose any time, but in turn losing more of it as a result. As we push further on here, looking just try and chase him down and get that point back before he gets away from us. Further into the lap, and Gasly still there in front of us. Going to look for a move into turn number 7. No chance of that, but way too risky. But turn 9, however, Gasly gets a poor exit of turn 8. We're going to look to the inside. His blind right-hander is very tight indeed. We're up in front. That was a very risky overtake. We've made it happen. We've got the guts to go for it. And now Zhou to the outside of Gasly. Where did Zhou come from? He's been a thorn in our side in the opening stage of this race, and now he's back to try and challenge us for this points paying place with 11 laps to go. On to lap 26. Zhou now our main target. Gasly's fallen away. Magnussen around him as well. There goes Zhou to our left-hand side, going into turn number 10. And there he goes, half a car length in front and pulling clear at the exit of the corner. So Zhou now has our point. We've got to try and get it back from him as soon as we can now too. Everyone wants this last point. And we're trying to get it back from Zhou here onto lap 27. And on the way on the right-hand side of the racetrack and pulling back in front of him without any questions asked. Back into turn 1. And P10 is ours once again, but still plenty of time to lose it. As he comes to the end of lap number 27, going wide out the last corner, and Zhou's going to take full advantage of that. He's on the hard tyres. Look how much faster he is compared to our medium-tired AlphaTauri. Zhou goes charging through without any issue at all, and P10 is his once again. It's a back-and-forth battle here for this last points-paying position with Piastri and Norris far up ahead. Up the road about 15 seconds clear, so still chasing Zhou here. Yellow flag in sector 3, that's Hamilton, who's out of the Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton, who won last time out in Monaco, now out of the Spanish Grand Prix. What has happened to the 7-time world champions Mercedes, which appears to have conked out in the second half of this Grand Prix as he was chasing down Russell, and I believe that was Charles Leclerc he was going for, but it just loses the car here on the exit of turn number 10. And so there goes Sainz, and there goes Perez through. So Hamilton pulls the car over from race winner to DNF in the very next Grand Prix. So it's another place, another Grand Prix finish for him, unfortunately. But for us, that means P10. That's another place gained, and we could get P9 here off Guan Yu Zhou if we can try and beat him here on lap 29. Into turn number 1 we go on the inside of the Alfa Romeo and pulling clear once again. And that might be all she wrote, because Zhou is quickly falling away from us now. Could those hards be finished? Hulkenberg have got around Zhou as we start the final lap of the race, and those guys about a second back from us. We're too concerned with fighting each other. Hulkenberg looking to try and score a point for Haas here. Magnussen not too far behind either, but our tyres are finished there, so good thing we don't have to defend anymore. And here comes Max Verstappen out the last corner, again going completely unchallenged. He continues his domination of the season and wins the Spanish Grand Prix here in Barcelona as the Red Bull team celebrate there on the pit wall. Verstappen takes home another victory in 2023. We're going to come to the last corner though to claim P9, 2 more points on the board at the end of a very fantastic Grand Prix, which will strategy be the main focus. We've come out on top over Gasly and Zhou.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Good race, guys. You guys got us those points. That was all you. The strategy was absolutely flawless. Great work. Good job as always.
They've done it then. A spectacular victory here in Spain and a massive confidence boost going into the next race. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I feel consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Well, it's been a season of domination so far for this man, Max Verstappen, who's lost just 2 Grand Prix from the first 8 this season. His 6th win of the campaign comes here in Spain. Only Leclerc and Hamilton have also won Grand Prix. So the celebrations begin once again for Red Bull as Russell comes home in 2nd and Leclerc finishes in 3rd place. All in all, good race for those guys, but a fantastic race for us to get more points for AlphaTauri. Just the 2 on the board, but those 2 can be crucial come the end of the season, so I'm pleased as always.
Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. Meanwhile, AlphaTauri's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So before we wrap things up, have a look at your top 10 from the Spanish Grand Prix. Verstappen wins from Russell, then Leclerc. Carlos Sainz in 4th, Alonso 5th, Perez in 6th. Lando Norris leads home teammate Oscar Piastri in 7th and 8th. We finish in 9th, and Zhou Guanyu nicks the final point from Nico Hülkenberg, who will have to end his barren run of failing to score points so far this season. He's leading home Magnussen for P12. So solid race for us. We made things work from P17, getting 8 places in that race, if my maths are correct. So there's your Drivers' Championship. We've got 15 points this season, tied with Gasly, 160 off the top though. Verstappen leads Leclerc now by 58 points thanks to Hamilton's retirement. And in terms of your Constructors' Championship, Red Bull continue to lead the way over Mercedes. We sit in 7th place in front, or tied with Alfa Romeo. Williams has now been jumped, we've now jumped both of them, and Haas there in 10th. Quite a way off us. But guys, that'll wrap things up for this video. I do hope you did enjoy it. If you did, then make sure to like, share and subscribe for more regular Formula 1 content. And until my next video, you guys have an absolutely splendid day, and I shall see you in the next one. Have a good day, and goodbye.